My name is Brodie Kerslake, and I will be covering the entrepreneurial qualities, journey, and influence of Ron Raphael Braunstein, also known as his artist name Necro. Being raised and brought up in a rough setting of the Glenwood projects, it is fair to say his start was a setup to fail, yet he did not. His story begins in 1988. By watching his brother get involved in hip-hop music, Ron followed suit, even though they no longer get along over an incident where Ron called his brother out for stealing artwork that belonged to him. I will put them side by side for you to decide if he had any right to be upset about this. Ill Bill's album is on the left, his brother, and Necro's on the right. It is abundantly clear the inspiration was taken from one album to another, stirring up problems between the two. Necro lost his brother as a result and had to pursue his career alone. Bit of an over-exaggeration if you ask me. What makes Necro a successful entrepreneurial figure in the music industry? Firstly, starting his self-taught production journey in 1989, looping records until he got his hands on an eSonic EPS sampler in 1991. He gained his first bit of recognition by making beats he would sample for Non-Fiction, a group his brother Ill Bill belonged to. No Tomorrow was his big break, as he was the producer on that track which received airplay, which started his snowball effect of success. What does Ron bring to the table? Well, he's a self-taught jack of all trades. He has a bigger beat catalogue than any producer I know, is a hip-hop artist with 7 studio albums, 4 EPs, 30 compilation albums, plus 2 box sets, 3 mixtapes with his brother Bill, and 40 singles give or take. That's a respectable sized discography, which now earns him passive income from the royalties associated with his songs, beats, and when doing shows. Being as knowledgeable as him in the field, making income from his work, in my opinion, makes him an entrepreneur. Another resume piece under Necro's name is he is the founder of Psychological Records. He named it this due to how he approaches his career. Can't be psycho, can't be logical. Gotta be psychological, as in be smart, but also don't take any crap from people either. Definitely a product of environment influence. Given he grew up in the Glenwood projects and his daily life was rough and he was set up to fail, but prevailed. What challenges did he face, and how did he overcome them? The music he makes, he often attracted hostile and disrespectful crowds. Even some have thrown bottles at him on stage. He was pressured by the promotional people to tone down his approach to his shows to appease the antagonistic crowds. But Necro refused, as he would have to change who he is as a person to meet their demands. As a result, some entire tours had to be cancelled. No good. Necro was an extroverted networker. Strategic networking can create new opportunities in Australia's film industry. This quote from the book, The DNA of Australian Innovators, that resonates with Necro's approach to how he got where he is today. Brute forcing his networking until he started to make connections with other people in the industry, all while staying completely independent with his own label, as I mentioned he owns before. Mentoring emerging artists and fostering connections between different sectors of the industry demonstrates how entrepreneurial thinking can create sustainable creative business. This quote directly relates to Necro, as making connections whilst he was an emerging artist plays a key role in his journey and his success, and returning the favour as he mentored people he worked with, such as Mr. Hyde. Necro's self-proclaimed best friend, collaborator, and group member of the Circle of Tyrants hip-hop group, which includes Necro, Mr. Hyde, Ill Bill, Necro's brother, and Gore-Tex. This group is no longer active as Necro and Gore-Tex had a falling out, but there isn't any information online as to why. There is a video on Patreon about it, but I'm not paying for that shit. Plus, he doesn't get along well with his brother either, about the artwork situation. She spent her formative years collaborating with family members who were established musicians. This quote relates directly to Necro, as he started his musical career from observing and collaborating with his brother Bill, pictured below. My future vision. My future vision involves me becoming a successful and certificate certified mix and master engineer, and possibly a recording engineer who works behind a console, which I learned how to use in my previous 176 module at SAE. I first got into the music scene when I showed a friend a verse I wrote and recorded on my phone prior to any knowledge about the recording process. He gave it a thumbs up and I started making music afterwards. This is one of the beats that I've made. Inspiration for music grew from there. The photo supplied is whom got me interested in the music industry by giving me positive feedback from the song I showed him. My friend and I would often go word for word, reciting many songs to see who would mess up a word first, but neither of us did. Massive hip-hop heads, both of us, and it ignited my passion for what I am still pursuing today. I make music, and with how expensive music production is, I got into the swing of making it myself. Becoming a jack of all trades was my original goal. Video editing, production of beats, and mixing and mastering is something I've spent 8 years honing in the skills to do all, and I thought the next logical step was to start going to uni to gain knowledge I didn't have before. If I can mix and produce beats, then I can freelance work or even work as a recording engineer. I can achieve this by learning the utmost I can with mixing and an expert knowledge of mixing and mastering. And I learned how to use a rather difficult console at SAE, which was the ASP4816 console, which makes me feel I'm ready for any job requiring any of these attributes would ask of me. When it comes to hard skills, they include a multitude of working with Ableton Live for 8 solid years, so my navigation of that application is top notch, or so I think. I also am proficient in Photoshop and the likes of video editing. Learning all these things not only saves you a ton of money, but opens job requirements also. Having only Ableton Live at the time, I made multiple beats where surprisingly they were on key, but overused instruments. I'm confident I can thrive in any setting other than live when it comes to producing to any extent for anyone who is requesting music production. I went to living music studios for 3 years prior to even having interest in mixing what my engineer was mixing for myself, and the idea stuck. I am still pursuing this goal to know all till the present day and will not stop until I do so. Navigating a console and advanced DAW knowledge is essential. My DAW knowledge came self-taught, but the console knowledge came from SAE. Video editing, even though not a part of my learning aspects, was also self-taught through HitFilm Express, which included chroma key, keyframing, and effects. The same can be said about Photoshop. As I said, I'm really trying to become a jack of all trades. Level of commitment? Extremely high. Learning what I learnt not only took months but almost an entire decade, and I'm still humble enough to know that I don't know everything.
Far from it.
When your passion becomes a job goal, just know it's going to take a lot out of you, otherwise everybody would do it. I've explained my regular mix chain to multiple people, and it's somewhat of a niche skill that most people don't know. What gives anything value? If it's something people can't do themselves or something they're too lazy to get done on their own. I used to have the skill time management, which I no longer do, unfortunately, and it became a problem with my ADHD. Apart from my computer bricking, I had to redo this entire assignment in one day, which I made alarms for every hour because I needed sleep, but also because I did not want to fail. Shout out to my coordinator for giving me an extra day to redo everything, but it was extremely draining. My eyes hurt a lot from looking at a screen for as long as I have. I learned to do everything online so you don't lose progress on whatever you were doing. It has been a massive time crunch. I do not work well under pressure, but I had to get this done in time for the deadline. Hopefully I've succeeded in getting a pass for this particular assignment. I didn't learn much, but what I already knew finding citations for was a massive mission. Also doing something for 24 hours straight will always almost make or break you. I'm going to bed. Good night. Hope you enjoyed my presentation. That's 10 minutes.